complete fitness really is a metaphysical, heavy thing more than anything else. It's your inner discipline and iron will that takes you to the gym. It's your weakness that says, I want to inject this thing. Sorry, right? And you will sacrifice mindset for that. I have to use this example, number one, because peptides are being so popular right now. And number two, because it applies to all these metaphysical importances of complete fitness that I want to address today, taken from the times. In fact, current events like this morning, where Tulsi Gabbard is announcing that false accusations at the very top will be prosecuted, that if that some sort of evidence of a conspiracy to slander and slap this false narrative onto someone, ultimately in this case undermining the democracy of the thing. Now, this undermining of the democracy of parenting is happening in the household, and false accusations are used there, and all these different problems and abuses, which are really just opportunities to build strength, right? But the problem is when you don't build the strength. As our mastermind veteran AK says, we can't blame you for getting knocked down, but we can blame you for staying there and not building the strength. And this is really being stuck. This is not progressing. You're either growing or you're dying. So today's video is about complete fitness inside of a very unfit environment. Opportunity to build strength. Most people are going to become a product of their environment. They will become kind of the environment, right? Rare, strong diamonds under pressure in the coal vein are also going to present themselves. And if we're super fit, super completely fit, kung fu masters that live at the top of the hill, we might even want to be focused on making sure we don't miss the young talent that's coming up that we're supposed to get behind, like back in the natural old day when we used to do that. When your old head didn't hate on the young cat, actually wanted to help him, and the young cat didn't sell drugs to and disrespect that old head, right? Those old Leave It to Beaver days, long gone. And also this morning, 11 hours ago to be exact, because I believe that we should sponsor and support someone with everything that we do. Also, Observation from Nature by Bill Mollison. Everything in nature, every action, everything applies to two or more purposes. Now you're building with this strength, right? Anti-Alienation Project, who I've decided I will support. I'm not affiliated with her at all, but I don't know her. I hope that people special to me are able to find her information. And again, we should serve two or more purposes and also support other people. And it just so happens she's done an incredible expose on a rat experiment that explained social media effects and other effects that we're seeing in society right now, and then reverse engineering that, seeing the causes of those effects being the same in the rat experiment. I think it's really awesome that she found this and did this, and I've been following her. I mean, she is really a hero of our time, truly a hero of our time. We were back to the political top of the food chain level. Me and the mastermind were discussing this morning how heroic President Bukele of El Salvador is these days, and what a prosperous explosive investment opportunity El Salvador is becoming for so many people, also using the Bitcoin as their national currency. And there's all kinds of fun talks about that. And there's all kinds of unknown things that we're stepping into, whether we like it or not, which is great, because it turns out that social media is kind of programming people to stay in a comfort zone, to kind of not do the hard things, right? I'm quoting Maddie's presentation here today. So we're going after false accusers. We're going after people who lie. There's actually consequences now for being Amber Heard, right? And I'm hoping that at some point there can be an all-around, and we're not going to get stuck here. I'm going to move right past this. But I'm hoping there'll be an all-around task force that can go over all kinds of situations out in the world right now where people are screaming, saying, no, this is not true. I'm being falsely accused. This person who's falsely accusing me is doing all this grimy stuff like child abuse. So many child abusers are accusing everybody like it's the narcissistic construct. Please see the links below, anti-narcissism.org. Please see the key nutritional elements. Please like, follow, subscribe. The key nutritional elements, and guys, get yourself a carbon water filter. They found 52 pharmaceuticals across the United States 10 years ago, and it was consistent throughout the city. What are those pharmaceutical chemicals doing to people? Why is this massive amount of comfortably psyoped herd so absolutely not even complacent, but weaponized against truth, weaponized to be dramatic, weaponized to be deceptive themselves, weaponized to go after the so if your ego gets out of control, if they can jack your ego up to the where you're not listening to anyone anymore and you are God, right? And they can laugh as you continue to brick by brick build that up, go to the top of one of their city food chains and social media accounts and jack off in front of everybody all the time. If they can get you to just keep running that program, or the Jerry Springer program, where it's just constant drama and conflict and constant drama and conflict, and you screw over this person and then they screw over you, and then it's okay tomorrow, and you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it because you've been programmed to by a Jerry Springer show, Netflix, soap opera. You know what I mean? If there's not a dun dun dun, you're gonna create it. And who knows what kinds of evils you drift into after time in that modality. Right? That's not fit. That's not healthy. That has nothing to do with health. You are not just unhealthy yourself, but you're a cancer that's spreading into everybody that's around you. You may never have intended to be that, but you drifted, as Napoleon Hill says, in Outwitting the Devil, which is actually a real prerequisite to being within physical area of me. And it's not because I'm afraid you'll damage. I'm afraid because you're not perceptive enough. You don't have the discernment enough. You haven't studied to be discerning. And you haven't put work into that strength. And so you're a liability because you could open my area up to all the things you didn't discern with on the front end. Because success favors the prepared. It also favors the courageous, right? So if you can live in fear, have a gassed up ego, not know anything, know everything and not learn anything. You know everything, you're gassed up on fear. Everything you know is bullshit, actually, when it's truly inventoried and analyzed and scrutinized and investigated. And if you don't have that going on, shut up. Don't say anything. You don't have you're just another toxic poison splasher that's throwing bullshit around. There's nothing behind it. I agree with Tulsi Gabbard. We do need to go after false accusers. That is serious. That is probably why that is witchcraft. That is Amber Heard modality. And right where she got off scot-free in front of everybody and she's now having tea. We used to burn witches years ago, 50 Cent's oldest kid is all over the thing with all these extreme child abuses, and there's no investigation on this mother. David Goggins is a hero to all of us, but not to his own, because PSYOP brainwashing campaigns are enabled, and there's even a carrot out there for these people to do this stuff. Do you understand? So you are inside of an environment that is baiting you and punishing anyone who tells the truth and baiting you to be a slime ball, right? And there's no consequences for that slime ball-ness. But call out a slime ball, and they've got the slime balls. They've figured out this great organization to where you're the slime ball. Anti-narcissism.org, genius 15-minute web read. If someone like me tells you to do a 15-minute web read and you don't do it, who are you? Another A gamer is going to look at that and say, all right, no. Discernment. This person doesn't know what time it is. They are a liability, not an asset. I had an outline here, but some of my friends, they've told me, your rants are better than when you go by the outline. And so I want to mix it up and do good as I do these reps, as I don't even care about who watches them or who doesn't. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it to do the right thing, to get better at video making as a skill, to tell the truth and to contribute my fingerprint, individual feeling on some of these things in action. I am doing the ritual of not just talking, but walking, and in such a valiant way, because it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, any approval, political correctness, toxic culture mandates and expectations. It's a toxic culture. I have discernment. And this is the kind of independence and strength and inner strength and complete fitness that if we all had, we would be in a much different environment. It would be our environment created by us, not an environment that is creating a bunch of people who are actually living a distraction. If you're not living your best version, your strongest self, your truest, honest self, you are distracted. You've been distracted. You've been deceived away from that destiny path and role. I love the Jordan Peterson quote, and Maddie was given other Jordan Petersons in her episode. I'll put the link below. Please watch that. Seriously, like for your own complete fitness and inner muscle strength and discernment, all right? Complete fitness, inner muscle strength, and discernment. Honestly, if you make that your holy trinity for 1 week just so you can build out those three things, man, not a bad move. Get back to the roots when you're done. There's probably only 2 mouth sounds in my diverse adversity, diverse experiential diversity. That is me, that is right. When I look at that, I really only notice, I definitely will be a fraud and a punk, ungrateful worm if I did not say from my experience that the name Jesus Christ doesn't have insane amounts of power and recognition to repel evil and to bring you into alignment, right? And if we're really going to follow in his example, we're going to be the brightest bulb going after the highest bandwidth, the most reach, changing the most people for authentic goodness. And we've seen the frauds over the last years. We see that the devil's very good at making a hijacker appear to be that guy, right? We all need to try to be the real true guy. And the false accusers that try to mess up the real guys and play that guy, put his mask on, read the Kia Carl Berg Genius Works. Richard Grant is another one to be supported. Seriously, these guys have laser focused in. They've done the investigations. They've done the hard work. Chase Hughes, another one. They've really studied this, and therefore we should listen to them. These are great, and they're tethered to honesty. In the case of Maddie Anti-Alienation Project, so she was lied to her whole life by her mother. Now she's like, fuck that. Not only am I not going to be that person, but I can't stand that type of person. I'm galvanizing over here. So you have a truth teller that you can depend on there. Candace Owens for president. You can see the same thing in her. But it takes one to know one. You're not going to be able to discern or see these things unless you become these things yourself. Isn't that funny? You could tell them people all day, all these gassed up people that know everything but don't know shit, actually. You could tell them all day, but they can't hear you until they can actually see. So what are we doing here? We're all just chasing our tails, right? No. Be a good person. Your fruits are you. I have so many people that I look up to, and then they start alcohol companies. I would never start an alcohol company. You know, I said I would never sell coffee, but it just so happens that there's so many coffee drinkers, and I'm in South and Central America, and I'm in the best coffee region, and something happened to where you could go to epicdon.org and get the highest quality of coffee. And we're going to be doing hot chocolates and hot chocolate hybrids. And we're actually going to make a coffee company that sells you better coffee, and slowly but surely is going to wean you off of coffee, because the tannic acid level of coffee is way too high to be consuming your entire life the way that you're doing, right? So those of us who can actually go into the belly of the beast of evil, that's what Jesus did, right? He went to the absolute poorest, most afflicted, and brought the help to them, right? Epicdon.org for the coffee that is veteran owned and supports a morning mastermind of self-development and PTSD treatment. There are great advances in psychedelic treatments. There are great advances in so many different treatments with PTSD. And we have an alternative, though, if you like to, that we think should be explored first. And that's personally doing a retreat with this nutritional diversity diet stuff with the Renacimiento retreats. And you can see links to all of this below. Is a primary thing, and as a secondary thing is a daily morning routine to really get your pieces going right, because you've had violent nightmares all night, because you've got ruminator all over you, and 50 other demons, we don't know the names to them, and we don't care, right? And I already covered the one name that's going to be the most powerful thing in that. And then after that is nutritional diversity, and it's only because I was dedicated to that name, an example, that I received nutritional diversity diet concept after living by myself, no phone, no bank account, way out in the middle of the jungle, and healing my own PTSD, no psychedelics, nutritional diversity diet. I didn't heal it, I treated it. I can't heal yours, but we can treat it. And do a lot better, right? I want to give you guys this information, everybody. People with PTSD, 97% of us are anti-violent. We can't stand violence anymore. It was seeing insane violence we never imagined seeing that gave us the PTSD, you know, and now we're pretty much against violence, a lot like autistic people. So you can depend on a person's experiences and who they've become from those experiences if you're able to get up close and analyze all that information correctly. But if you're not, you have to categorize it as, I don't know. I don't know about this person, and I'm going to take my time, but I am going to find out. And if it's important, if it's not important, and importance is not based in self-benefit. Importance is based in doing the right thing. with the stuff that's right in front of you. Everybody, that's the other programming. The grass is greener on the other side programming. The ignore what you're doing right now to live in this fantasy that doesn't even exist, both positively and in the realm of imaginary evils, right? And anywhere today in the scope of definitely cities at the very least, but modern culture, anywhere in the world today, you're going to really need to recognize how toxic the soup is, even though that you're standing in it. Like I was saying, they can't hear until they can see. You got to get out of the toxic soup. You got to go to nature, guys. Okay, I'm not, that's the thing is like the church has got to have gardening. It's got to have nature. It's got to have real growing. It's got to have a real biological interface with God's intended thing. It's got to have exercise. Where's the church that's got all that, right? It's got to know. Its body and leadership has to know that we're just trying to do the right thing. It can't sit there and claim all kinds of exalted BS. You know what I mean? We have to stay tethered to real, 1,000%. And if somebody in our tribe is saying something, you know it's solid. And if you can bring your operating measures up to that point, as Chris Langland, the man with the 200 IQ, and wrote a theory of everything very worth paying attention to, you know what I mean? Once you get into that pattern structure, which we've seen microscopically now since 2008, thanks to Dr. Masaru Emoto's microscopic water pictures, that in 85% everything water, right? We know now, and that's something I can tell you about that I saw out in nature, is you can see how good deeds and being responsible and not being a clumsy, disrespectful, impolite, stupid person can really build this kind of crystalline, beautiful growth formation in your mind. And that's just absolutely, and you start to take on this dynamic complexity like a sixth sense of feeling, and you start to become aware of the other layers that are going on, both positive and negative. I realized it by commitment to positivity. I've seen other people get promoted left and right who committed to deception, right? And that's the one thing that I would say, if you can carve completely out of your system, you're one of the most strongest people that I know. And as a cultivator, we came here to get strong. I can tell you that for a fact. Everybody, plants, animals, insects, all of it. All right? And as we progress through something that physics and quantum physics already tells us is a conscious, non-physical progression through space that can build and create physical representations and ideas and interworkings for the purposes of growth and learning and strength and discernment. And because your true colors are coming out in this life, right? So Mike Tyson has a DMT experience. Dalton Contrastal has a DMT experience, where both of these guys are showing that the most excellent spirited and physically talented and just awesome artistic and scientific things are all going into highlights. That was Duncan Trussell. That none of your past or spirits are actually secret. That everybody can see everything you did in this life. That's Mike Tyson, right? You know what I mean? This is a holodeck training module for your soul in so many ways. I have physically been touched. Chess pieces have been arranged in such miraculous ways. Angelic chess pieces, have been, and now look where I live. I live in complete paradise, man. I've got a great life. This is all through blessing. I didn't think any of this was possible. I was taken out. I didn't have pennies to my name. My credit was destroyed. I was locked out of the United States for 14 months on some bogus bullshit by a false accuser liar that should be prosecuted and jailed. And I went into the jungle for 7 years so I didn't go kill all of those child abusing, kidnapping, brainwashing pieces of garbage. And I see this, and now that I saw that, and I lived in the jungle for 7 years, I can see the shit everywhere. And I have to make a video just to do the right thing and to tell the truth, and whatever after that. At least I checked that box. And I'm gonna try to do more. And I see the real fullness of the example that Jesus set when he tried to help everybody that was really up, man, you know what I mean? And tried to help everybody, and has historically had the most widest bandwidth help for everything. And let's just go ahead and and buckle down on that one and finish this up here with a prayer. Dear Lord, I pray that everyone who sees this and everyone in the world who doesn't see this equally, everyone who's given us challenges to overcome and is donating their souls to the fire so that we can get our wings in stage 2. I hope that we can. I pray that we can. I pray that we work super hard and earn it, really, for real, every waking moment. As Jordan Peterson says, every time you are doing anything that is not serving your purpose, you're opening black holes. I pray that we can understand and be aware of this, and that we can do everything within our power to avoid doing this and building the crystalline, beautiful expansion of greatness and goodness and purity and love. And I pray these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I'm not an expert. I'm your fellow journeyman. I'm not coming to you like your guru. I'm not going to sell you injectables made by other men that bypass God's given natural intended system. I'm not going to ask you for thousands of dollars for nothing in return. I'm never going to lie to you. I'm never going to abuse you. I'm never going to do that to fucking anyone. And if I do, I better make it right. I will make it right. And I have been trying to make some of the mistakes that I've made way before I had the awareness that I do now. For a long time. And if there's anyone out there that I have wronged in any way, and there's something that I could do to fix it, and I've legitimately wronged in any way that I can do to fix it, I will do it. And in that respect, I also pray that anyone who has false accused me or anyone else with lies, and I also pray that just separate from that, and both of them combined, anyone who's guilty of intentional child abuse really meets their punishment. That includes my mom, and that includes my kid's mom, and that includes the government, that includes everyone involved with family court, that includes everyone who's who's conspiring and coming up with any kind of false BS to slap someone with, to undermine the intelligence and disrespect all of us with some bullshit. There's nothing more disrespectful than coming throwing some bullshit in my face, and I've never given bullshit the time of day. There'll be people sitting there smelling it and talking to it and checking it out. Oh, fuck, aren't you opening a black hole right there? The fuck are you doing? Like, if I see you doing that, I will discern that you can't discern, and I'm not going to have anything to do with you, because you're looking at the spear's tip right here. Anyone who's rolling with me is going to be so super hardcore. It's going to radiate for miles. I mean, we'll walk into rooms and gyms or wherever, and talent level aside, man, every small, jealous, pathetic mind will start to fry, and we will dance to the sizzle. Don't be like that, man, because I will walk right all over you, and it's harder to tell the truth. It's easier to tell the lie. It's harder to listen to the truth. It's easy. Everybody's in line for the convenient lie, man. Just give me my comfort zone. Keep me where I was yesterday. Avoid growth, escapism. You're a victim of programming. If you're not growing and you're over here opening black holes everywhere. I love you. I pray for you every single day. I'll respect your choices, whatever they make. I'll still love you, and I'll still be thankful for you, and I'll get stronger. Who what?